Give us the 5, Caleb, that you think has a major impact for Tennessee as a true freshman this year. Not easy to do.
And guys, I start this by saying this is very personal to me because this is where my age is hitting me, Dave. This is the first year that true freshmen are closer to birth than they are to my age. And what I mean by that is true freshmen are less than half. I've been alive more than half. I can't even talk right now. These true freshmen have lived less than half of my life. It's the first time true freshmen, I can say that about true freshmen, that the majority.
I feel like I've listened to this for about half of my life. Thanks to Adam Vinatieri retiring, I'm older than everybody in the NFL. So I know the feeling. That was a couple of years ago. I think Boo Carter gets what?
Okay, sir.
No, that's fine. Go ahead. Boo Carter gets most of it. Go ahead. But you got your top 5.
Yeah, let's go down the list. Yes. So, starting at number 5, and there are a couple of clear starters and then a few rotational players. And Dave, I'm starting at number 5. I'm going to say Braylon Staley, the slot receiver from South Carolina. And the reason I'm saying Braylon Staley is Tennessee moved Dante Thornton over to wideout, which you've told me. He's firmly at wideout now. Squirrel White's the only starter in the slot. I think Tennessee is going to want a bit of a rotation there. And so I think you're going to actually see Braylon Staley get some meaningful catches. Am I crazy on that?
You're not crazy at all. As a matter of fact, you're the opposite of.
That's crazy.
I would actually have him number 2. And I think we probably both agree we've got Boo Carter. I mean, I hate to give it away, but do we both have Boo Carter number 1?
Yes, but it's actually closer than you think. And we'll explain that. Dave is just bursting to talk about Boo Carter, guys.
I am. I would go Brazel number 2. So far I've got Boo number 1, Brazel number 2. You say
Brazel's not a freshman. Brazel's not a freshman. I'm talking about true freshman. True freshman.
Oh, okay. Well, what true freshman candidate do you have there then?
I'm getting there. Let's get to number 4.
Okay.
Number 4 for me is Max Anderson. I think there's going to be a true freshman offensive lineman in the rotation. I think they have to for depth. He's not going to start, but they're going to have somebody. Max Anderson comes from Texas, was a 4-star. I think Max Anderson will be in the rotation. He won't be starting.
Yeah, but is that a big impact?
These are the top 5 impact true freshmen. There's only 14 on the team.
Okay. He has a big impact. All right.
Number 3. He won't start at wideout because as you mentioned, there's Brew McCoy, Dante Thornton, and Chris Brazel. But I think Mike Matthews is number 3 because I think Mike Matthews is the rarest talent on the team at receiver. And I think they'll find ways to use him.
Great skeet shooter. I think that Mike Matthews, if it wasn't for Boo Carter and the fact that for whatever reason, there's a guy right every year that kind of gets people's attention, a prospect that people want to hear about. Maybe it's because his name's Boo, maybe because it's in state. I don't know. But people wanted to know about him, right?
And because Colorado went so heavily after him.
Right. So he was but if it's not him, it's Mike Matthews, who I think fans gravitate towards in this class.
Mike Matthews was a 5-star for a reason. Great. And yeah, so I agree. Now, here's my 2 that I think are going to start. We'll get to Boo. But number 2, Dave?
You don't think Matthews is going to start?
I mean, over Brew McCoy, Dante Thornton, Chris Brazel? You think Matthews could take any of their spots? I think Josh Heupel's biased to seniority. I think Matthews should be the number 2 wideout.
I'm not predicting an injury. I don't want anybody to be injured, but I would not be surprised if Mike Matthews is the first off the bench in case of an injury. How about that?
Okay, I could see that. Number 2, and this is who you keep forgetting about, and he has to step in and be the starter because he's the only option. Peyton Lewis at running back. Tennessee does not have a quality feature back on this roster. Cam Seldon is not quality.
Okay. Now, Zach says, I think Arian Carter and Seldon were top picks last year preseason. They were.
Cam Seldon can't play. Sorry.
Cam Seldon, I've got questions about his vision. I had that when everybody was all about him last summer, and so did Caleb. Arian Carter is going to be great. He's just been banged up. So I don't think we were incredibly off, especially if you factor in that they needed Selden last year, not that they were going to have him. There's two different things. You need something and you're going to get it. They didn't get it, but they needed it. So if it came up in conversation, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yes. So Peyton Lewis did not play in the spring. Dave, is Tennessee not in trouble if Peyton Lewis doesn't immediately step in as the starter, as the feature back? Because Dylan Sampson can't do it, guys. I'm sorry, he can't do it. And Khalifa Keith is a power back. They don't have a feature back on this roster.
Who is the guy, T. Lynn, Jenny James Dixon, or that showed up for
Lynn J. Dixon that was on the roster for 2 weeks?
Could you not do that if a running back's not happy? Because you don't have to know the entire offense to play running back. Summer transfers are not going to work out for the most part, but could you not do that? Possibly bring in a summer running back transfer that would have an impact?
They should have cobbled some money to keep Jabari Small. They should have cobbled a bit of money to keep Jabari Small.
I was told Jabari was ready to go. I was told it was not. I was told it was not salvageable.
It was not a smart move by Jabari Small. He was going to be the feature back this year.
I agree.
And they should have cobbled the money. He was not Jalen Wright, but he could have turned himself into an NFL draft pick this year. They should have cobbled the money to keep him, and he should have stayed because Tennessee doesn't have a feature back, and that's why Peyton Lewis is number 2 on this list.
But remember this. You talk about cobbling the money together. The guy has to at least do his into the deal, into the bargain. I mean, like Cooper Mays, Brew McCoy, they showed up at the golf event yesterday. They're engaging, good with fans, all that. Maybe that's just not how Jabari Small is wired.
He was super valuable, though. So
I agree.
That's why Peyton Lewis might be freshman all SEC this year because he was
okay. But I would argue this: he's not so valuable that if he half-A's it through NIL responsibilities, that I'm going to pay him and just hope it works out on the field. He's not that.
Lewis or Small.
Small. If he was Jamal Lewis, I would say, all righty, here's your NIL money. Why don't you send out a tweet about once a week and you can just show up and play on the field and we're good.
Okay, fair enough. I get what you're saying that with Small. I just think no, honestly, no. I'd rather Jabari Small than Jamal Lewis for this reason. Jamal Lewis had Travis Henry backing him up.
No,
okay,
I thought you might go there, and that's very fair. I mean, I can't even come close to arguing with that.
Number one is
go ahead.
Yeah, and before we get out of here, number one is obviously Boo Carter. Peyton Lewis is more important than Boo Carter in terms of need, but Boo Carter's just more rare talent-wise. But Peyton Lewis is the guy that Tennessee's in big trouble if he doesn't work out. If Boo Carter doesn't work out, Dave, Tennessee has some options in the secondary.
See, I never think you're in big trouble if a running back doesn't work out, because your offensive line should be good enough to open holes. Your quarterback and receiver should be good enough to open up the box. I think just like the NFL does, running back is the least valuable position on the field, and I don't even think it's close. Yes, go ahead.
Your running back has to be able to pick up blitzes, and they have to be able to be. You have to have a running back that can, 1, pick up a blitz, and 2, be a downfield runner. Peyton Lewis is the only guy that can do that in this system. If nobody else Dylan Sampson, Dave, you say that. If Dylan Sampson's out there, Josh Heupel can't run his full offense because Nico Eberle was going to get hit every single time. I could get off of Dylan Sampson's blocks, okay?
No, I mean that's true. But what makes you think that Peyton Lewis is going to be able to? What makes you think that Peyton Lewis is going to be able to pick up the blitz any better?
If he can't, Tennessee's in trouble, and everything about this season it should be thrown out the window.
Tennessee's best true freshman this year will be, and these are your choices: Boo Carter, Mike Matthews, Peyton Lewis, Braylon Staley. Thoughts on Braylon Staley?
I like that one. I'm a fan of that one. My pick of that. Boo Carter will be the best one.
He's 68%.
The one Tennessee needs the most is Peyton Lewis. And I'm telling you, you guys are... Josh Heupel's offense doesn't go without a feature back, Dave. This offense does not work without a quality feature back.
It went last year without a feature back.
Jalen Wright is a feature back. Jalen
Wright is an above average tailback. He is
That's
not
all you
a
need.
feature back.
That's an above average feature back. A guy that can... All I'm saying is this. A guy that can shoulder 20 carries in a game that can carry, that is fast enough to carry it to be a downfield runner and can also pick up blitzes. All of that you have to be serviceable at. Khalifa Keith is not serviceable enough to be the downfield runner with speed because he's a power back. And Dylan Sampson's not even serviceable as a blocker. And Cam Selden is not serviceable as a runner because he's a terrible runner.